Hey everyone, I wanted to share a few strategies for playing dominoes. I've tried to figure out a way to articulate my approach to the game since being locked away at home due to the COVID-19. And I wanted to share with family and friends who I've asked to play online. So this is my approach. You could take it or leave it. I don't know if it's a right way or wrong way, but um, it's kind of how I try to approach every move. So I created an acronym, and that acronym is SKILLS, spelled incorrectly, of course, and with the C in parentheses, which I will explain. So what this stands for um, is my hierarchical approach. When I look at my hand of dominoes and I want to make a play, sometimes it's difficult to decide what to play if you have multiple options. So the first thing I look for every time is, can I score? And I'm talking about the game fives, which is to make ends total a multiple of five. So if I can do that, I will. Um, After that, I'm kind of always considering, do I need to cut weight? Do I have double fives, double sixes, double fours? Do I need to look at getting rid of them, kind of dumping them so that those points aren't given to my opponent in the end if I have them left over in my hand, similar to Uno. The L stands for lowering the board. That is lowering the scoring potential that your opponent has. And the S is for stacking the board. And by that, I mean, if I have the potential to make all of the ends the same number, then that means my opponent has to have that number in their hand, or they'll have to go to the boneyard and start collecting more dominoes. So that's another defensive strategy. So defensively, cutting weight, lowering the board, and stacking the board. Offensively, scoring. And I would even add to the end of this, I've been thinking a little bit about setting myself up for my next move after I've considered, should I lower the board? Should I stack the board? Do I have multiples of the same? And should I consider setting myself up for my next move, given I've considered and factored in all of those other values? They are hierarchical, starting with scoring. That's how I approach it. However, sometimes you have to make a decision between one or another depending on what your opponent has played. So to give you an example, scoring. So here you can see I have a 4 and a 2. I could also play off the 5. So I could play this 5 and nothing, and that would not give me any points. If I played this 6 on the 2, the 6-2 and the 2 here, I would have an end of a 6 and an end of a 4, and that would give me 10 points. So I also have the option here to play this double 4, that on this 4, and that double 4 would give me 8 plus 2, and that would give me 10 points as well. So if I can score, no need to continue further. With the strategies, I just go for it. Cutting weight, again, is something that I'm kind of always thinking about, whether I need to get rid of some higher dominoes. In this hand, I have double 4s, and I have a 6 and a 2. So the highest I have here is an 8. I'm not too concerned because I'll probably have the opportunity to play them here. If I were to get rid of this double 4 here as previous, that would give me 10 points. So there's some motivation for me to do it. I would just score. But say scoring was not an option and I were to play that double 4 here, then I would be nervous and I would be thinking about lowering the board. And the reason for that is because, I'll just switch here. Whenever I see a double played like this, this is scoring potential for my opponent. Whoever plays off this side now has 10 on the other side. So if I play a 3 and a 5 over here, I have 15 points. So when I want to lower the board, I might play this 5 and 1 over here. So now I reduce this 10 to a 1. So my opponent now has lower potential for scoring a lot of points. So a defensive strategy. Stacking the board. Move my photo here. Hopefully you can see those dominoes. So stacking the board, as I said, here in this example, this is my last domino, so I can play it. I'm going to go out no matter what, but say the game's not going to end, I have to decide, do I want to play it off the 1 or do I want to play it off the 4? And so in this case, it's interesting, it works both ways. If I play it off the 1, then there is a 4 and a 4 here. If I play it off the 4, then there is a 1 and a 1. So I might just play it off the 4, and by doing so, I'm stacking the board so that my opponent must have a 1 to play. I suppose they could still play off the spinner, the 5 here, but that's the idea of stacking the board. So that's pretty much my approach. Again, I would maybe add setting up next move to the mix, but otherwise that's how I approach it. All right, have fun playing dominoes.